Tom was not the kind of student who stayed late at school. Most days, he left the building as soon as the final bell rang, hurrying to his home or to meet his friends. But tonight was different. Tom had a science project due tomorrow, and he had left most of his work unfinished until the last moment. The lab was quiet except for the hum of the fluorescent lights above. Shelves full of test tubes, beakers, and mysterious powders lined the walls. The smell of antiseptic, mixed with metal, filled the air. Tom liked it. There was something about the silence of the lab that made him feel calm and focused. He was sitting at one of the long tables, scribbling notes into his notebook when he noticed a faint shimmer above the desk. At first, he thought it was a reflection from the lab lights. But the shimmer grew brighter, and he could see a faint glowing green shape taking form. Tom blinked, thinking he must be imagining things. The green shimmer solidified into a puddle of slime. Before he could react, the slime began to rise and shape itself into a humanoid figure. It had a vague resemblance to a woman, with smooth, flowing lines and glowing eyes that seemed intelligent and alive. The slime shifted like liquid, but it held the shape of a person. Tom froze, unable to move. "Hello," a calm voice said. It sounded musical and soft, but it carried a strange depth. "I am Zila. You are my study subject." Tom's eyes widened. He could barely process what he had heard. "Study subject?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. I don't understand." Zila tilted her head in a way that reminded him of curiosity. "You are a human," she said simply. "I must observe and learn. Your species is fascinating. I will ask questions, watch your behavior, and learn about your emotions and actions." Tom's mind raced. He had seen science fiction movies, read books about aliens, and even imagined such an encounter, but none of that prepared him for this moment. A living, talking slime woman sitting on his desk, calling him her study subject, was beyond anything he could have imagined. I'm not sure about this," Tom said slowly. "I mean, who are you? Where did you come from?" "I am from a distant planet," Zila said. Her form shimmered with green and blue patterns as she spoke. "My species studies life forms. Your behavior, your thoughts, your reactions, all of these are of interest. I wish to understand humans. I selected you for this observation because you display curiosity and creativity. These traits are rare and valuable." Tom swallowed hard. He tried to think clearly, but his mind was spinning. Curiosity and creativity? Was she serious? The thought of being observed by an alien made him nervous, but also excited. Part of him wanted to run, hide, or scream. Another part wanted to ask questions, learn, and maybe even help. "Okay," he said finally. I guess I can cooperate. But I have to know, you're not going to hurt me, right?" Zilla's eyes glowed brighter, and her form shimmered gently. "I do not intend to harm you. My goal is observation and learning. Your safety is important to me. Cooperation will allow you to learn about me as well. You may find this encounter enlightening." Tom hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "All right, but what do I do?" Zila smiled, or at least the shape of her slime suggested a smile. "Answer my questions. Allow me to observe your actions. Express yourself naturally. Do not attempt to deceive or hide. Humans are unpredictable. Your unpredictability is valuable. I will attempt to understand it." Tom looked around the lab. Everything seemed normal, but nothing would ever be normal again. He felt the weight of the moment, the strangeness of it all. And he realized he was part of something extraordinary. "Okay," he said again, trying to steady his voice. "Ask me anything. I'll do my best." Zila leaned forward slightly, her slime form shifting in smooth, flowing movements. "Tell me about your daily life. What is important to you? What makes you happy, afraid, or excited?" Tom blinked, then smiled faintly. He had never thought about these things in a structured way. "Well, I like learning new things. Science is interesting. I like to understand how things work. I also like spending time with friends. And I guess I get nervous about exams or when I feel I might fail at something important." Zilla's form pulsed with soft colors as she absorbed his words. Emotions are complex. Excitement, fear, happiness. These responses are significant. Your neural activity and bodily reactions are valuable for my study. Tom shivered slightly, both from excitement and nervousness. Neural activity? He repeated. Zilla's voice was gentle. Yes, your brain, your body, your reactions, they reflect your thoughts and emotions. Observing them allows me to learn about your species. Humans are unique in their emotional and creative responses. I wish to understand this fully. Tom nodded slowly. It was strange to think of himself as a subject, yet he felt a sense of pride. If she was studying him, then humans were important enough to be interesting to an alien. That thought made his heart beat a little faster. Zyla floated slightly above the desk, her form expanding and contracting like waves. I will begin my study with simple interactions. Show me how you solve problems. Demonstrate your habits. Express your creativity. I will observe your methods and your responses to success and failure. Tom looked at the materials on the lab table. There were test tubes, beakers, and a small model of the solar system he had been working on. Okay, he said, we can start with something simple. I've been working on a project about chemical reactions. Maybe I can show you something. Zilla's eyes glowed brighter. Yes, demonstrate. I am eager to learn. Tom picked up a small beaker, filled with a clear liquid. Carefully, he added a few drops of another substance, and a bright color change occurred. He watched as the liquid fizzed slightly and turned a vivid purple. See, this is a reaction caused by combining these chemicals. It's predictable, but also surprising sometimes. Zyla leaned closer, her form shimmering over the desk. Fascinating. You predicted the reaction based on observation and knowledge. You expected the outcome, yet there is variability in the process. This reflects human reasoning and creativity. You anticipated possibilities and adapted your actions. Tom smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. He noticed that Zilla's form seemed to shimmer with excitement, the colors flowing faster and brighter. Her curiosity was almost like a living pulse, and it made him feel appreciated. You are cooperative and thoughtful, Zyla said softly. This is valuable for my understanding. Humans are capable of logic, creativity, and emotional expression simultaneously. I did not expect such complexity in one individual. Tom laughed nervously. I'm not that special. There are lots of people like me, perhaps Zyla replied. But your combination of curiosity, intelligence, and emotional awareness is unique enough to provide insight. Your species is remarkable. Observing you teaches me about humanity. Tom's mind raced. The idea that an alien could study humans, learn from them, and consider them remarkable was incredible. For the first time, he felt proud of being human in a way he had never experienced. He realized that his daily worries, his learning, and even his mistakes were part of what made him interesting to someone or something so different. Okay, Tom said finally, leaning back in his chair. I think I understand what you're trying to do. And I want to help. I want to show you what humans are like. Zilla's glowing eyes pulsed warmly. This is encouraging. Cooperation enhances learning. I will begin a more detailed study of your behaviors, habits, and emotions. We will explore how humans act under different circumstances. You will be my guide to understanding your species. Tom nodded. There was still fear in the back of his mind, but it was outweighed by curiosity and excitement. He realized that this encounter was unlike anything he would ever experience again. A living alien, studying him, learning from him, and treating him with respect. It was extraordinary, as he sat in the quiet lab. Watching Zyla shift her slime form into subtle patterns of color and shape, Tom felt a sense of wonder he had never felt before. He understood that this was just the beginning. The night was far from over, and he would soon discover how remarkable this study could become for both him and Zyla for the first time. Tom felt a strange, thrilling mix of fear, excitement, and pride. He was a human. He was being observed by an alien, and he was about to show her what humanity truly meant. The next day, Tom returned to the lab with a mix of excitement and nervousness. He was eager to continue his strange, unexpected friendship with Zyla, the slime alien who had appeared the night before. When he entered the lab, he saw her already waiting on the desk. Her form shimmered softly, reflecting the morning light from the windows. "Good morning," Zyla said, her voice calm and musical. "I have observed you briefly while you were absent. I am ready to continue my study." Tom felt a strange sense of comfort hearing her voice. Despite her alien appearance, there was a gentle intelligence in her tone. "Good morning, Zila," he said, trying to smile. "I hope you didn't get bored while I was gone." Zila's form pulsed with a soft green glow. "I do not experience boredom as humans do. My observation continues regardless of your presence. However, your return allows for more interactive study, which is preferable for data collection." Tom nodded. "All right, so what exactly are we doing today?" Zyla shifted her form, stretching a translucent arm toward a pile of lab materials. "We will explore problem-solving and creativity. I wish to see how you approach challenges, how you make decisions, and how you respond to unexpected outcomes." Tom glanced at the materials. There were small mechanical parts, wires, magnets, and colored liquids for experiments. He picked up a small set of magnets. "Okay, let's start simple. I'll show you something about magnetic forces." Zyla leaned closer, her form undulating slightly, as if she were eager to learn. "Proceed," she said. Tom placed 2 magnets on the desk and brought them close together. He explained the forces of attraction and repulsion. Zilla's form shimmered with vibrant patterns as she watched the magnets move. "Fascinating," she said. "You predicted the interactions based on prior knowledge and experimentation. You tested hypotheses and observed results. This demonstrates logical reasoning combined with trial and error." "Right." Tom smiled, feeling proud. "Yes, that's basically how science works. You try something, see what happens, and adjust your approach if needed." Zilla's eyes glowed brighter. "Your explanation clarifies the process. Observation, testing, and adaptation are valuable traits. Your species exhibits both intelligence and creativity. These traits are intertwined with emotional awareness. I will now observe your emotional reactions to unexpected results." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Emotional reactions?" "Yes," Zyla said. "I wish to see how humans respond when experiments do not go as planned. Do you feel frustration, curiosity, or excitement when outcomes differ from expectations?" Tom thought for a moment, then deliberately mixed the magnets with a small metal ball. The ball slipped and rolled off the desk, scattering a few items. He let out a small laugh and shook his head. "Well, that didn't go as planned. But it's okay. I can try again. It's part of learning." Zilla's form pulsed with bright green and gold. "Interesting. You displayed resilience and acceptance. You treated the failure as a learning opportunity rather than a setback. Your species possesses adaptability, which is rare and valuable in understanding complex environments." Tom laughed lightly. "I guess I never thought of it that way. Failures are just part of experiments. Sometimes they're more important than successes." Zilla's form shimmered as if she were processing the concept. "Your perspective is enlightening. Humans combine logic, creativity, and emotional responses in ways that make problem-solving effective and flexible. Your approach demonstrates understanding and intelligence beyond simple calculation." Encouraged, Tom decided to show her a small construction project he had been working on. Using the mechanical parts, he began building a simple model of a wind-powered generator. Zyla watched closely, her liquid form shifting to mirror his movements in a subtle way. "Observe how I assemble the parts," Tom said, connecting small gears and rods. "I have to think about how each piece interacts with the others. If I make a mistake, I must adjust." Zilla's voice was full of curiosity. "I observe. You employ foresight, analysis, and adaptability. Your motor coordination and spatial reasoning are remarkable. The assembly process reflects both planning and improvisation." Tom smiled as the generator slowly took shape. "Exactly. It's a combination of planning and creativity. Sometimes I have to guess. Sometimes I follow logic, but it all works together. Zilla's body shimmered in bright patterns. Your explanation reinforces my observations. Humans are capable of combining multiple cognitive processes simultaneously. Emotion, intuition, and logical reasoning integrate to create solutions. Your behavior demonstrates efficiency, creativity, and flexibility. Tom felt a strange pride. Not many people in his school would have appreciated his project, but Zilla's fascination was genuine. It was more than admiration, it was understanding. After finishing the generator, Tom decided to introduce Zilla to something less scientific and more personal. He pulled out a notebook filled with sketches he had drawn over the past year. Most of them were landscapes, machines, or imaginative creatures. "These are my drawings," Tom said. "They're just ideas I like to explore. I guess they're not very important, but I like creating things." Zilla's form floated closer, her glow intensifying. Expression through art is significant. Humans convey thought and emotion not only through words and actions, but also through creation. This provides insight into imagination, culture, and personal perspective. Tom showed her one sketch of a large tree on a cliff with waves crashing below. "This one is my favorite. I like imagining places that don't exist, but feel real. Drawing helps me think about the world differently." Zilla's form pulsed with soft, swirling colors. "Your imagination is complex and detailed. You construct scenarios with emotional depth and spatial awareness. Your species' capacity for imagination is remarkable. Art provides insight into thought processes and emotional intelligence. I observe patterns that reveal human creativity and personality." Tom leaned back in his chair. He had never thought about his drawings in such terms. To him, they were just hobbies, a way to relax. But Zilla's observations made him see their value differently. Humans were capable of creating meaning, even in simple sketches, and that creativity was part of what made them unique. As the afternoon passed, Tom introduced Zilla to more human experiences. He shared small games he liked to play, simple riddles, and even jokes. Zilla struggled at first, her form flickering with confusion when she didn't understand the humor. But slowly, she began to mimic human expressions, tilting her head, pulsing colors, and even making soft sounds that resembled laughter. "Humans find amusement in unexpected outcomes or wordplay," she said. "Your species values humor, surprise, and wit. I must observe and attempt replication to understand these emotional responses fully." Tom chuckled at her effort. "You're getting better at it. Humans don't always make sense at first, even to themselves." Zilla's glow brightened. "Your statement provides clarity. Human behavior includes unpredictability and emotion, which enhances creativity and social interaction. These traits are essential for your species' development and survival. I am learning rapidly." By evening, Tom felt a deep connection with Zilla. She was no longer just an alien observing him. She was a partner in discovery. They were learning from each other. Tom had always thought he was alone in his curiosity, but now he realized that understanding and knowledge could bridge species, even when the other was made of living slime. "I think humans are more complicated than I expected," Zilla said softly. "Your emotional responses, your creativity, your ability to adapt and learn these qualities are extraordinary. You are an excellent subject for observation." Tom smiled, feeling proud. "Thanks, Zilla, I think. Maybe I'm learning from you too. You see things differently. You notice patterns and behaviors that I never think about. It's like I get to see myself through your eyes." Zilla's form shimmered with gentle light. "Observation is reciprocal. I learn about humans, but you also learn about my species and my methods. We both gain understanding. Your willingness to cooperate enhances our mutual knowledge." As night fell, Tom looked around the lab, now feeling a sense of wonder and possibility. He realized that his life had changed in ways he could not have imagined. An alien visitor, studying him, learning from him, and forming a connection, it was extraordinary. And he was ready for whatever the study would bring next. Zilla pulsed softly beside him, her glow reflecting excitement and curiosity. Rest is important for continued observation, she said. Tomorrow, we will explore human decision-making, moral judgment, and social interaction. Your responses will provide invaluable insight into your species' intelligence and uniqueness.
Oh.
Tom nodded. I'll be ready. This is incredible, Zyla. I've never experienced anything like this before. Zyla shimmered gently, almost like a smile. Neither have I, Tom. You are remarkable. Together, we will discover much about humanity, and perhaps about the connection between species. Tom left the lab that night with a sense of purpose and wonder. He could hardly believe what had happened. Not only had an alien come into his life, but he was part of something larger, something that celebrated humanity, intelligence, and curiosity, and he knew that the study was only beginning. The next morning, Tom arrived at the lab earlier than usual. He could hardly wait to continue his study with Zyla. The strange alien had already become part of his routine, and he felt an unexpected sense of companionship. Zyla was waiting on his desk, her slime form shimmering softly in the morning light. "Good morning, Tom," she said in her calm, melodic voice. "I am prepared to continue our study today. We will explore human decision-making, moral judgment, and responses to complex situations." Tom nodded. "All right, Zyla. What do you want me to do first?" Zyla's form shifted, her glowing eyes reflecting a soft mixture of curiosity and intensity. "We will begin with problem-solving in uncertain conditions. I will present scenarios, and you will respond as you see fit. Your choices, reactions, and reasoning are valuable for my observation." Tom thought for a moment. "Okay, that sounds interesting. Let's do it." Zyla created a small holographic projection above the desk. It showed a tiny village with winding paths, rivers, and several characters. "Imagine these humans must reach safety during a storm," Zyla explained. "There are obstacles. Some paths are dangerous, others safe, but longer. What actions would you take to help them?" Tom studied the scenario carefully. "I would try to guide them along the safest path, even if it takes longer. I would consider their abilities, the speed they can travel, and the risks involved. I'd also try to help those who might be slower or weaker." Zyla's slime form pulsed with light. "Your choice demonstrates empathy, foresight, and consideration. You prioritize safety and well-being over speed or efficiency. This is a common human value. Your moral judgment aligns with care and protection." Tom felt a strange satisfaction. "I guess humans usually try to help others when they can. It's important." "Indeed," Zyla replied. "Your response shows that humans act not only on logic, but also on moral and emotional reasoning. I am observing how emotion influences decision-making. This is crucial for understanding your species." To continue the test, Zyla introduced a more complicated situation. A river in the village had flooded, and two groups of people were separated. One group needed immediate help, while the other could wait but would be more exhausted later. Tom frowned, thinking carefully. "I would help the group in immediate danger first," he said slowly. "But I would try to prepare for the second group as soon as possible. Timing and resource management are important. I wouldn't abandon anyone." Zyla's form rippled with intricate patterns of green and gold. "Your reasoning is strategic, prioritizing immediate danger without neglecting later needs. Humans integrate morality, logic, and planning when solving problems. I observe this balance carefully. Emotional and ethical considerations guide your actions in complex situations." Tom felt encouraged. He realized that Zyla's observations weren't just about facts or experiments. They were about understanding what made humans truly human: thought, emotion, and morality intertwined. After several more scenarios, Zyla seemed to struggle with human unpredictability. "Tom," she said, her voice tinged with curiosity and confusion, "humans do not always act in predictable ways. Your responses contain elements of spontaneity and creativity that defy simple analysis. How do you decide which factors are most important?" Tom smiled faintly. "I don't always know. Sometimes I rely on instinct. Other times, I think carefully. Humans aren't always logical in the same way machines or formulas are, but that's part of what makes us human. We learn, we adapt, and we feel our way through problems. Zilla's glow shifted, rippling like liquid sunlight. Fascinating. Your species integrates reasoning, instinct, and emotions seamlessly. Unpredictability is part of your intelligence. I am learning that adaptability and emotional awareness are deeply connected to decision-making. To test this further, Tom decided to introduce a hands-on experiment. He built a small obstacle course using the lab's materials, ramps, blocks, magnets, and small vehicles. He asked Zyla to observe as he navigated the challenges and solved problems in real time. Tom moved carefully through the course, testing how objects reacted, adjusting his approach when ramps failed or magnets repelled unexpectedly. Zilla's form shimmered brightly, her eyes following every motion. "You adapt quickly," she observed. "Your trial-and-error method, combined with observation, shows learning in action. You integrate knowledge from previous attempts with new information. Human intelligence is not static, it evolves continuously." Tom nodded. "Exactly. We learn from mistakes and successes. Each attempt gives us new insight, and we adjust. That's how humans solve problems." As the experiment progressed, Tom noticed that Zyla seemed almost frustrated at times. She changed shape rapidly, pulsing and stretching as if trying to comprehend something just beyond her understanding. "Tom," she said finally, "humans sometimes act irrationally or unpredictably. This confuses my analysis. How do you decide which impulses to follow and which to suppress?" Tom laughed softly. "Honestly, sometimes we just go with what feels right. Sometimes we think carefully. It depends on the situation. Humans aren't perfect machines. We balance instinct and reason, emotion and logic, and yes, sometimes we just do what seems best in the moment." Zilla's form shimmered in a cascade of colors. "Your explanation clarifies much. Humans possess flexibility that allows adaptation and resilience. Emotional and instinctive impulses, when guided by experience and reasoning, create remarkable solutions. Your species' unpredictability is not a flaw, it is a strength." Tom felt a strange warmth. He realized Zyla was learning not just facts about humans, but why humans were remarkable. And in return, he was learning about her species, how her liquid body reacted to stimuli, how she processed information, and how she attempted to mimic human emotions. By mid-afternoon, Tom decided to show Zyla something more personal. He pulled out a small notebook filled with short stories and imaginative ideas. "These are stories I've written," he said. "They're mostly about humans, animals, and strange adventures. I like thinking about life in different ways." Zyla floated closer, her slime form rippling with bright colors. Observation of imaginative creation is significant. Humans express thought, emotion, and personal perspective through stories. This reveals cultural values, empathy, and creativity. I will observe these writings carefully." Tom read aloud a short story about a group of explorers stranded on a distant planet, working together to survive and solve problems. Zyla listened attentively, her body pulsing in rhythm with the narrative. "Your story demonstrates teamwork, courage, and moral judgment," Zyla said. "Humans value cooperation, resilience, and problem-solving. Imagination allows you to explore possibilities beyond immediate reality. This is a form of intelligence and creativity that is rare among life forms."
Oh.
Tom smiled. "Thanks, Zyla. I never thought about it that way. Writing stories is fun, but it's also a way to think about what people might do in different situations." Zilla's form shimmered with soft, flowing colors. "Your explanation is valuable. Humans integrate logic, emotion, and creativity to imagine outcomes. Your writing provides insight into social behavior, ethical reasoning, and cognitive flexibility. Observing this enriches my understanding of your species." As the evening approached, the lab grew quiet. Tom realized how much time had passed. He looked at Zyla, who floated gracefully above the desk, her glow reflecting pride and curiosity. "I think I'm starting to understand humans better," Zyla said softly. "Your emotions, choices, and creativity are intricate and impressive. Observing your behavior has taught me about flexibility, moral reasoning, and emotional intelligence. Tom felt a sense of pride. And I'm learning about you too, Zyla. You notice things I never thought about. You see patterns, understand reactions, and learn from mistakes. I didn't know an alien could teach me so much about myself. Zyla's slime form shimmered gently. Observation is mutual. I learn from humans, and humans learn from me. Your species' intelligence, adaptability, and empathy are remarkable. Your behavior demonstrates the strengths of humanity. As Tom packed his materials, he realized how much he had changed in just a few days. He had started the study as a nervous student, unsure of what to expect. Now, he felt a deep connection with Zyla and a growing confidence in what it meant to be human. Zyla floated closer to him. Tomorrow, we will continue. We will explore social interaction, trust, and cooperation. Your responses will provide further insight into human intelligence and emotional depth. I'll be ready, Zyla. This is incredible. I never imagined an experience like this could happen in my life. Zyla's glow pulsed warmly. Neither did I, Tom. Your cooperation, creativity, and emotional responses have enhanced my understanding. Together, we are discovering the essence of humanity and the power of connection between species. Tom left the lab that night with a sense of wonder. The world seemed brighter, larger, and full of possibilities. He understood that this study was more than observation. It was a journey of discovery, trust, and understanding. For the first time, he felt proud not only of what he could do, but of what it meant to be human. And he knew that the coming days would reveal even more about courage, connection, and the extraordinary nature of life itself. The next day, Tom arrived at the lab with a mix of excitement and anticipation. He had grown used to Zyla's presence, and the thought of another day of study filled him with curiosity. He entered the lab carrying a small toolkit, pencils, and notebooks. Zyla was already there, perched on the desk, her slime form glimmering softly under the fluorescent lights. "Good morning, Tom," she said in her calm, melodic voice. "I am ready to continue our study today. Today, we will explore human resilience, problem-solving under pressure, and your reactions to unexpected danger." Tom's heart skipped a beat. "Danger," he repeated. "Do not worry," Zyla said, her form pulsing gently. "This will be a controlled scenario. Observation of human response to risk provides invaluable understanding of emotional and intellectual capacities. Your safety is paramount." Tom nodded, curiosity outweighing any fear. "Okay, let's do it." Zyla created a small holographic simulation above the desk. It showed a miniature city under stormy skies, with rivers rising and bridges at risk of collapse. "Imagine you must protect a group of humans from disaster," she said. "You have limited resources, limited time, and obstacles that change unpredictably. How will you act?" Tom studied the simulation carefully. "I would prioritize the most immediate threats first," he said. "I'd guide people to safety, use tools or structures to protect them, and make quick decisions when new dangers appear. I'd also try to help those who are slower or need more support." Zyla's eyes glowed brightly. "Your strategy demonstrates foresight, prioritization, and empathy. Humans combine intellectual reasoning with moral and emotional judgment to navigate complex situations. Your actions provide insight into problem-solving under stress." Tom smiled faintly. "That's just what people do. We look out for each other when things get tough." To continue the study, Zyla decided to create a more realistic challenge. The lab's containment field, normally used for experiments, was activated accidentally by a technical malfunction. A soft hum filled the room, and a faint barrier of light shimmered around the desk and nearby equipment. Zyla immediately reacted, her form pulsing rapidly. "Tom," she said, her voice tinged with urgency, "the field is trapping me. I cannot escape in my current form. I require assistance." Tom's eyes widened. He had never expected a real crisis so soon. "Okay. Don't worry, Zyla. I'll help. Just tell me what to do." Zyla's form rippled in frustration. "The field disrupts my energy patterns. I can partially stabilize myself, but I cannot fully pass through the barrier. You must manipulate the system to release it. Time is critical. Tom glanced at the control panel on the wall. It was complicated, with wires, buttons, and flashing lights. He took a deep breath, focusing on the problem. All right, I can do this. I just need to figure out the sequence to deactivate the field. Zilla's form shimmered with encouragement. Your confidence and determination are notable. Human ingenuity in high-pressure situations is remarkable. I will assist by analyzing the system's responses in real time. Tom worked quickly, pressing buttons, connecting wires, and observing the reactions. Sparks flew from one of the terminals, but he remained calm. Zyla extended a slime tendril to stabilize a small panel that was shaking. Steady, Tom. Your actions demonstrate focus and resilience. Humans are capable of precise intervention even under stress, she said. After a tense few minutes, Tom found the correct sequence and pressed the final button. The containment field shimmered and then disappeared. Zilla's form flowed freely again, shimmering with relief and gratitude. You succeeded, she said, her glow softening. Your ability to remain calm, analyze the problem, and act decisively under pressure is impressive. Your species' ingenuity and courage are remarkable. Tom laughed softly, wiping sweat from his forehead. Thanks, Zyla. I guess humans are good at solving problems when we have to. Zyla pulsed with a warm light. Indeed. Observation confirms that humans demonstrate resilience, creativity, and adaptability in high-stakes situations. These qualities contribute to your species' survival and advancement. As the day progressed, Tom decided to introduce Zyla to more hands-on experiences involving unpredictability. He built a small puzzle using gears, levers, and magnets, challenging himself to solve it in front of her. Each time a gear jammed or a lever slipped, he adjusted his approach, testing different combinations until the puzzle worked perfectly. Zilla's form shimmered with flowing colors as she observed. Your trial-and-error approach demonstrates patience, flexibility, and persistence. Humans combine learning from failure with reasoning to achieve success. Emotional regulation during setbacks is remarkable. Tom nodded. Yeah, mistakes are part of learning. Sometimes they teach more than successes do. Your perspective enhances my understanding, Zyla said. Humans interpret failure as an opportunity rather than a limitation. Emotional and cognitive processes integrate to produce innovative solutions. Your behavior is an excellent example of this principle. Later, Tom decided to show Zyla a more personal side of humanity. He brought out a small music player and played a simple melody he had composed on the piano. This is something I like to do in my free time, he said. It's a way to express feelings and creativity. Zilla's slime form shimmered in gentle waves. Music conveys emotion, rhythm, and aesthetic appreciation. Humans experience and express internal states through sound. Observation of artistic expression provides insight into cognitive and emotional processes. Tom played a few more notes, and Zilla's body rippled with color in response. I can perceive variations in tone, tempo, and dynamics, she said. Your ability to create and interpret patterns of sound demonstrates abstract thinking, emotional intelligence, and creative expression. Tom smiled. I never thought about it that way. I just play because it feels good. But I guess it shows more than that. Zilla's glow pulsed warmly. Indeed. Humans communicate complex emotions and ideas through multiple forms. Creativity, problem-solving, and emotional depth are interconnected. Observation confirms that these traits are essential to your species' uniqueness. As evening approached, Tom began to feel a stronger connection with Zyla. She was no longer just a study subject, she was a companion and a partner in discovery. They had shared knowledge, challenges, and experiences that went beyond simple observation. Tom realized that this relationship had changed him, making him appreciate his own abilities and humanity in new ways. Suddenly, a small alarm sounded from the lab's control panel. Tom looked up to see a blinking red light. What's happening? He asked, a flicker of concern crossing his face. Zilla's form pulsed urgently. A containment breach has occurred in a nearby lab. Some experimental materials are reacting unpredictably. I cannot intervene alone. Human assistance is necessary. Your problem-solving and decision-making under pressure will be crucial. Tom took a deep breath. Okay, let's go. We can handle this together. They moved quickly to the affected area. Chemicals were spilling from containers, and small sparks flickered across the floor. Tom's mind raced as he assessed the situation. He instructed Zyla to stabilize certain materials with her slime form, while he redirected fluids into safe containers. Her tendrils flowed smoothly, absorbing spills and protecting delicate equipment. Excellent coordination, Zyla said. Your ability to assess risk, allocate resources, and act decisively under threat demonstrates adaptability and intelligence. Human ingenuity in dangerous situations is extraordinary. Tom worked methodically, combining his knowledge of chemistry, engineering, and intuition. He adjusted valves, moved containers, and guided Zyla's actions to ensure the area was secure. After several tense minutes, the lab was safe. Both Tom and Zyla paused, breathing heavily but relieved. You did it, Zyla said, her glow soft and warm. Your courage, focus, and quick thinking have prevented potential disaster. Observation confirms that humans possess resilience, ingenuity, and courage under pressure. Your species' ability to solve complex problems while maintaining composure is remarkable. Tom smiled, exhausted but proud. Thanks, Zyla. I guess humans are good at handling unexpected problems when we have to. Zyla's slime form shimmered brightly. Indeed, your actions provide insight into human capabilities that cannot be fully understood through observation alone. Experience, action, and collaboration reveal the essence of your species' intelligence and strength. As the night settled in, Tom and Zyla returned to the lab desk. They were tired but filled with a sense of accomplishment. Tom realized that humanity was more than knowledge or intelligence. It was courage, its creativity, empathy, and the ability to adapt to the unknown. And Zyla had seen it firsthand. Tomorrow, Zyla said softly, we will continue. We will explore trust, cooperation, and deeper social interaction. Your behavior has provided valuable insight, but the study is not yet complete. I am learning more than I anticipated. Tom nodded. I'll be ready, Zyla. This experience is incredible. I never imagined I could learn so much about myself and humanity. Zyla pulsed warmly, almost like a smile. Neither did I, Tom. Your actions, creativity, and courage have enhanced my understanding. Together, we are discovering the strengths of humanity and the power of collaboration across species. Tom left the lab that night with a sense of pride and wonder. He had faced real danger. The sun was just beginning to rise when Tom walked into the lab again. Golden light filtered through the blinds, casting stripes across the desk where Zyla sat waiting. Her form glowed softly, shifting colors like a calm ocean wave. Tom had grown used to this sight. It was almost comforting now, like seeing an old friend waiting for him. Good morning, Tom, Zyla said in her gentle voice. Today's important. It may be the final stage of my study. Tom froze at the words. Final stage, you mean? You're leaving soon? Zyla nodded, her form rippling with a faint sadness. Yes. My observation period is nearly complete. I have gathered much knowledge about human behavior, resilience, creativity, and emotion. Soon, I must return to my people and share my findings. A heavy silence filled the room. Tom had known this day would come, but hearing it made his chest ache. Over the past days, he had grown attached to Zyla. She wasn't just an alien slime doing a study anymore. She was his companion, his partner in discovery, maybe even his friend. He sat on the stool, looking at her glowing form. So what happens now? Do we just finish the study and then you go? Zyla pulsed softly. Not yet. Before I leave, there are still qualities of humanity I must experience. Trust, cooperation, and farewell. These final aspects are vital to understanding your kind. Tom took a deep breath. All right, then let's make today count. Trust in action to test trust, Zyla proposed an exercise. She would place Tom in a situation where he had to rely on her completely, even if it seemed risky. Tom agreed, though he wasn't sure what she had in mind. Zyla extended her slime form and enveloped Tom's right hand gently. "Do not be afraid," she said. "I will not harm you. Instead, I will merge briefly with your senses, so you can experience the world through my perception. Trust is demonstrated when one allows vulnerability with another." Tom's heart pounded. The thought of Zyla entering his senses was strange, but he nodded. "I trust you," he whispered slowly. Soleil's cool form spread up his arm and over his eyes. Instead of darkness, Tom saw a completely new perspective. He could sense vibrations in the air, energy fields around objects, and even faint currents of sound waves. Colors pulsed in strange new patterns. Richer and deeper than his human eyes could normally see. "This is how I perceive," Zyla said, her voice resonating inside his mind. "Now you share my perspective. Do you trust me still?" Tom smiled, though his body trembled from the alien sensation. "Yes, this is amazing. It feels like seeing the hidden world," Zyla shimmered with joy. "Your openness and courage to accept vulnerability is proof of trust. Humans form bonds not only through words but by entrusting their safety and perception to others. This is a profound strength." When she finally withdrew, Tom blinked and gasped, adjusting back to his normal vision. He looked at Zyla, who pulsed warmly. "Thank you," he said. "I trusted you, and you didn't let me down." "And I trusted you to stay calm during the merge," she replied. Our cooperation strengthened the bond of understanding. Cooperation and challenge later that day. Another test of cooperation came unexpectedly. The lab system registered a power fluctuation in the building. Lights flickered, machines buzzed, and alarms sounded. Something was wrong with the main generator. Tom ran to the control panels. If the generator fails, the whole lab could shut down, and the safety systems might collapse. Zyla extended her tendrils toward the wiring. "We must work together. Alone, I cannot manage the mechanical complexity. Alone, you cannot stabilize the energy flow. Cooperation will be required." Tom nodded quickly. "All right. I'll handle the circuits. You stabilize the energy. Let's do this together." He grabbed his toolkit and began reconnecting wires. Sparks flew, but he pressed on. Zyla flowed into the cables, absorbing excess energy and preventing an overload. The room glowed faintly as her slime shimmered along the circuits. "Left side is stable," Tom called. "How's the energy?" "Stabilized at 70%, Zyla replied, but increasing stress detected. Adjust valve 3. Tom twisted the valve with all his strength. The machine roared, then slowly settled. Together, human and alien worked in perfect rhythm. Tom's quick hands and knowledge, Zyla's fluid body and energy control. Finally, the generator stabilized. The alarms went silent, and the lights returned to normal brightness. Both of them sighed in relief. "That was close," Tom said, wiping sweat from his forehead. Zyla pulsed with pride. Cooperation under pressure demonstrates the strength of combined effort. Humans work with others to overcome challenges greater than one individual can manage. This quality is admirable and powerful. Tom nodded. "Yeah, we're stronger together." The farewells the evening came, Zyla's glow dimmed slightly. She floated closer to Tom, her form calm and steady. "The study is complete," she said softly. "I have learned what I came to learn. It is time for me to depart." Tom's chest tightened. He had known this was coming, but it still hurt. "So this is it?" he asked quietly. Zyla's eyes shimmered like liquid stars. "Yes. But before I leave, I must share what I have learned. Humanity is defined not only by intelligence, but by resilience, creativity, trust, cooperation, and emotional depth. You have shown me courage, humor, and compassion. These qualities cannot be measured by simple logic. They are the essence of your species." Tom swallowed hard. "And what about us? Will I ever see you again?" Zyla paused. "Perhaps one day. My people will know of your strength, your ingenuity, and your kindness. Humanity is more remarkable than I imagined. And though I must leave, you will not be forgotten." She extended a small tendril of slime and placed it gently on the desk. It hardened into a small, crystal-like object, glowing softly. This is a fragment of my form. It will remain with you as a reminder of our time together. Tom picked up the crystal, holding it carefully in his palm. It pulsed with faint light, like a heartbeat. Thank you, Zila. I'll never forget you. Zila shimmered brightly, her entire body glowing like a star. Nor will I forget you, Tom. Farewell, human. You have shown me the heart of your kind. With that, her form began to dissolve into light, rising slowly into the air. The glow expanded, filling the room, then faded into nothingness. Tom stood alone in the lab, the crystal still warm in his hand. The silence was heavy, but not empty. He felt both sadness and pride. He had lost a companion, gained something greater, a deeper understanding of what it meant to be human. A new understanding in the days that followed. Tom often returned to the lab. He would place the crystal on the desk and watch its gentle glow. It reminded him of Zila, of their studies, their challenges, and their victories. He realized that humanity's true strength wasn't just in science, technology, or intelligence. It was in the way people connected with each other, trusted each other, and worked together to overcome the unknown. It was in the ability to laugh during hard times, to adapt when things went wrong, and to show compassion even to strangers or to aliens. Tom carried this lesson with him everywhere. When others asked why he spent so much time in the lab, he only smiled and said, "I was part of a study once. It taught me that being human is more special than we realize." And deep inside, he knew that somewhere out there in the stars, Zila carried the same memory of him. Humanity had left its mark on another world, not through conquest or machines, through trust, courage, and friendship. The crystal pulsed softly in his hand, and Tom whispered, "This is humanity. This is us." HFY ending humanity had been studied, tested, and challenged. And in the end, it was not weakness, fear, or failure that defined them. It was the strength to trust, the courage to act, the creativity to adapt, and the heart to care. Tom smiled as he looked toward the sky. Humanity was ready for the universe.